Yyyaaooo! What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to our broadcast tonight. I am your host, eXtine, and I am joined tonight once again by my lovely co-host, NexLevel Dota. How you doing, good sir?
Doing so good and feeling real lovely, so I'm glad you pointed that out.
Wonderful. Well, we are just about to get things underway with our very first match of the, night, because that is where the players are based. Evening time in Japan, very early for us. And we're excited to be here, though, as we have finally reached or not finally, I should say, but we have reached the winners bracket finals. So definitely a very important matchup. We have Team Omakase, who we saw overcome Team Sakana, yesterday, and that was a fantastic match. Really the cornerstone of our action.
Definitely.
We'll get into that a little bit more in depth later. And then JapanDotaRejects, who I got to see just a little bit of their games. We did get to see them play FTD and beat FTD, as well as just peeking a little bit of their games throughout the bracket. So now that we're in a winter bracket finals, these are the two best teams of the moment, and very excited to see where they go from here.
Definitely. I think what I want to know is who's in the lower bracket right now that, besides these two teams, is the contender that might take it over these two,
Yeah.
or if these are really the two, and that one of them is going to get knocked down in the lower bracket, only to once again fight the other who won in this match. So I'd have to look. I think...
Yeah, we were informed that early on the kind of the leads, higher seeds
Right.
were Detonator and Scars, and both of those teams were knocked into the lower bracket. Detonator by FTD in a match that just saw on again the ticket that was available through Dota TV. But FTD, an upset win there, then losing to JapanDotaRejects, while Omakase defeated Scars in the other half of the winners bracket semifinal.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I don't think. Oh no, they just updated the bracket. Okay, I had to refresh. My bad. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like Scars and Detonator. Well, actually, Detonator lost in the lower bracket to Sakana. Oh, okay, I understand. So Detonator's gone.
Oh, that must have just happened.
Yeah, I think as far as I can see, that's they're out. But both Sakana and Scars are still in it. Sakana and another team have to fight to see who's gonna pair up against Scars, and maybe we'll see Scars go up against one of these two teams. But yeah, this is the game we got here, and this is the winners bracket, like you said. So this is the top Dota right here for Japan, and we're here witnessing it with our eyeballs, which is wonderful.
Indeedy. And we did bear witness to some wonderful strategy, some wonderful gameplay from Omakase yesterday, and that was when, they drafted very unusually, and already we have some interesting draft picks coming out here. Omni Knight, not something that you always see in the competitive meta. While we have Outworld Devour is something we definitely see. Spectre is something we definitely see, but a very early pickup. What are your thoughts so far, NexLevel?
Yeah, the main thing that I would note about this is that Omni Knight as a kind of a pick like this without being paired with something it's going to gimp your lanes a little bit, because that first 3 levels you've seen some Omni Knights go rotating around, maybe TPing to lanes to help to give them that repel that they need to survive in the off lane or the mid lane, and then they don't get levels because of that. They're not stacking and pulling, so it's a really tough laning position because you're putting yourself in that position. So they're going to have to either draft to compensate or somehow just hope not to get the other team, Omakase, doesn't capitalize on that. But as soon as Omni Knight hits about level 3, especially level 5, that's when you're like, okay, I'm good as an Omni Knight at this point. But yeah, those first 3 levels are pretty rough.
Where do you like to see Omni Knight get thrown in, especially with this Doom jungle? I mean, how are you kind of already envisioning where do you think JapanDotaRejects might go with this strategy?
Well, the thing is, you can have Omni Knight solo offlane, but as long as it's up against supports that can't deal with it. And there's a couple supports that can, and a couple supports that really don't offer anything to push out Omni Knight. So that's a consideration, but on the same token, a dual off lane or possibly an aggressive tri lane is a place where Omni Knight can also fit in. It's if you don't really need it in the safe lane, like they don't have them themselves, let's say Omakase aren't aggro trying or have a really good aggro dual lane, then you can put them in the safe lane. But for the most part, you want them to save the off lane with that repel. Maybe babysit mid. So he's kind of versatile in that way. But yeah, you're really looking to utilize that repel in the early game because we do see a lot of offlaners get pushed out in this meta. You tri lane the safe lane, and because the offlaner can fall back to that hard camp, he can always do that. But with an Omni Knight there, or someone like an Omni Knight that can heal, like an Io or a Dazzle or something, you're able to secure those levels in that farm possibly. So that's a benefit of putting Omni Knight in the off lane. But a Witch Doctor pickup, yeah, is the third choice here.
Team Omakase has banned out a lot of carries, Alchemist, and a Life Stealer. They're trying to chip away at some of the options that JapanDotaRejects have. That's definitely what they're looking for, particularly after that Witch Doctor pickup. They are going to grab Sven, which was left on the table, and certainly a favorable pickup.
Omni Knight Sven, it's real good.
Yeah.
The only thing that really worries me about Omakase so far is that Disruptor it's the relationship between Disruptor and Omni Knight is the relationship between a couple silence and like the relationship between heroes that have silences and the ones that have magic immunity based on spells, like Life Stealer or Juggernaut. It's kind of the same thing where if Disruptor finds Omni Knight with that Static Storm, everything is Gucci. But if he doesn't, Omni Knight can just repel the person that Disruptor glimpsed or Static Fielded, and all of a sudden, Disruptor is doing nothing for that person, and that's a blown ult. And usually you blow it on one person if you're looking to kill the carry, and Omni Knight, if he's outside of that static field, is going to be able to easily save that carry, even better than a Venge would, because Venge Swap would put her in the static field and in harm's way. So this is going to this comes down to Disruptor's play and Omni Knight's play, like who will outplay the other. And of course, the same token goes for glimpses as well. Long range glimpses, Omni Knight can just repel that.
Yeah, that definitely will be an interesting dynamic to see. What are choices that are still on the table and might fit into Omakase's remaining options for roles that you would like to see against the Omni Knight here?
Yeah. The thing is, Oracle is Omakase does have a support left, and Oracle's pretty decent against Omni Knight. As long as he starts channeling Fortune's End, which is his Q, which happens to purge, as if he channels that before Omni Knight puts the repel down on anyone, it will actually purge the repel. So that is a consideration, and he can do that on ally. And here's the other thing: you can do it on allies too. So if you Fortune End an ally, and that ally stands next to someone who's repelled, that's another way you can purge that repel with Fortune's End.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a couple things there. Pick up Enchantress, probably I assume for the off lane. This is a tried and true pickup. It's making itself later and later into the draft as this meta progresses. This Japan meta appears to be reflecting what most of the other metas are. But yeah, so that seems pretty good up against a Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor can't really do much against that unless he gets a really good paralyzing cask. But depends on who the last support is for both these teams.
Yeah, JapanDota Rejects banned out that Earth Spirit. Again, maybe making it a little bit late in the draft pool, but
yeah. While we're in the last part of this pick, I gotta actually be right back, but you can take it away while I
Sure. Well, Wind Ranger banned out here, which is interesting. I guess that means that they figure Omni Knight will be played in more of the support role, directly helping out Sven. And we'll have to see if that is, in fact, the direction that they take this. They, as NexLevel mentioned, they could kind of run Omni Knight either as an off lane or as a support. Looks like they will grab Death Prophet, which still kind of maintains that status quo. It's probably actually Omni Knight off lane, Witch Doctor support with Sven as the safe lane carry and Doom in the jungle. They could have run things, Doom off lane and then that tri lane, but probably not. And looks like Winter Wyvern going to be picked up as the last hero here in their attempt at countering Omni Knight. Winter Wyvern an interesting pickup. Definitely has some strengths, but maybe fallen off just a little bit.
Yeah, that is interesting. So it works. They have a BKB piercing stun, which of course isn't as much of a stun as it is like it's kind of a half .5 stun because it makes the damage immune to any source outside of her ult. But I mean, physical damage is still what that ult does. And if Winter Wyvern finds a really good ult while Sven is God Strength, he's going to be able to turn Sven on his allies, and that can be pretty effective. It turns out. But
Right.
yeah, so like you said, Doom himself could possibly assist in the support role because I've seen a lot of Dooms like do this hybrid jungle hybrid support where they show up in lane and bully, but then just hop in the jungle to get that devour.
Well, let's run down the rosters real quick. QQIS Envy Please is going to be the Sven player for JapanDotaRejects. Ume being the Death Prophet. Evil on Omni Knight. Swagmaster, the Doom, and Mono Rita on Witch Doctor. Last game that we watched these guys,
Oh yeah.
there was a double Mono Rita bug, which was unfortunate. So we kind of got a little mixed up there. They just smoked up, but let me run down the Omakase roster once again real quick. Fabia on Outworld Devourer, Nubao on Disruptor, Nana on the Winter Vyron, Ren on Enchantress, and Louis on the Spectre.
Right on. We got ourselves a game, and it looks like one of them might. These team fight might break out if they can flank them here. They'll be completely behind them for this initiation. And who's first? Looks like Doom's walking first. He's gonna be able to pop that Scorched Earth. I'm assuming he's gonna level that. Yeah, he did. He popped it. Sven's looking for that stun. Unfortunately, Sven wasn't first. Maybe he could have got a stun off, but it was a kind of in a place where there's a very straight line here where vision is possible in this area, and the smoke broke right there rather than around some trees, which would have been the most fortunate outcome for JDR. But it's only 70 or 50 gold rather for a smoke, I think these times. Yeah, 50 gold, so very, very cheap.
Let's check out the items to see if there's anything unusual. Doesn't look like it. Nothing wonky.
Yep. Both carries going for Quelling Blades, of course. It's always really good when your farm is being contested. Fine people don't go Quelling Blades sometimes, but it really just pays for itself after. I mean, all you really need to do is get 4 or 5 last hits, and you're back up to what you were.
So we're gonna get things rolling here. Our winners bracket final underway here.
Woo! No, yeah, I really think that. I mean, this is season 1, by the way, so of this tournament. So there's going to be multiple going on, per.
Wrap up the lower bracket final next Saturday morning, 3 a.m. And wow, is it really Sunday morning? Yes, indeed. Then the grand finals next Sunday morning at 3 a.m. as well.
Indeed, we will be here, same people, casting for you.
I mean, I hope this series changes me as a person. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
No, yeah, I really think that. I mean, this is season 1, by the way, so of this tournament. So there's going to be multiple going on, per year, and here's to hoping that we have multiple good seasons for JapanDota. Bigger prizes for them, that kind of thing.
A very spirited showing so far of all the teams. So definitely you got to take something from it. It seems like the admins have been handling it pretty well. And big battle in middle. Outworld Devour is just going to back away, though, with that Astral Imprisonment on Death Prophet to chill things out for a little bit.
Yep. That's pretty much of a good power spike for Death Prophet there once she gets the level 2 Crypt Swarm and just has 1 point into Spirit Siphon, because it's really the slow you're looking for and the HP differential. And both of them have a Null Talisman, so it's even more HP both ways for the Spirit Siphon. And so it's a pretty good matchup here. DP against OD is one of those ones that's like, it is the favorable matchup relative to other matchups against OD. OD does pretty well against most heroes, but DP is one that can really put in a fight.
And things are going fairly well for Omni Knight off lane up top. He hasn't got a ton of last hits, but he had to use his salve, still feeling fairly comfortable.
Yep, and here's that Doom in the bot lane. Like I said, he's helping out with support, even more so because he couldn't get Devour at level 1 because of the engagement. So he was probably reluctant to level Scorched Earth. Like, he was like, oh, maybe I'll get something out of it, but unfortunately I didn't. And so he's sitting here, finally gets level 2, and he's going to be hopping into the jungle, I assume, very soon. Or he's just going to eat Enchantress's Creep, which is just as good. That's probably the best thing he can do, so very smart. in the top lane, finally, Omni Knight's getting bullied a little bit more than he was. He was having a good time with that Stout Shield and that Mango, Ice Frog's signature fruit. And let's see if he didn't, yeah, he didn't have to pop it, so he's good. He's sitting level 3, 3 minutes in, happiest Omni Knight. This is like very, you don't see offlane Omni Knight as much, but it's real good. I mean, the thing is, he's in danger right now that he doesn't have repel against the Glimpse, and finally Disruptor is up here flexing, so he's going to be zoned out. But once repel hits, if you're just smart about it, you just really get that repel off before the Glimpse can actually occur. But it has to be pretty quick reflexes. If it's a short range Glimpse and then you know it completes, then you're a little bit out of position at that point. But of course, when you're repelled, you can still run through the static field, so it's fine. Or a kinetic field, rather. Oh, how dare I get that wrong on my favorite hero.
And we have Doom has actually rotated top lane. Here is that kinetic field. And the TP is going to be attempted. But the Centaur Stomp used by Doom. Omni Knight in a bit of trouble. The repel comes out, and he should be able to skirt away from this. Pretty low health.
Yeah, that was really close. Well spotted. All right, let's see. What's on cooldown for Disruptor? He doesn't have... Okay, he does have Glimpse at this point, but I don't know if he just got it, if that was part of the initiation. But yeah, he is out of mana and out of HP, so he's going to have to go back, and Omni Knight was really low too, so a little bit of a wash there. But good rotation from Doom to come up, because I think that Omni Knight was probably dead without Doom's kind of help zone him out a little bit. And that stun, yeah, because all it took was a couple more right clicks and Omni Knight was dead, so War Stomp helping out there for sure. DP had a DD rune in the mid lane while that was going on, and she was able to get quite a foothold here in the mid lane. If you can look at the last hits, 26 and 7 compared to 11 and 3. That is not where you want to be as an OD. OD is like a Viper. Like, unlike a Viper, OD can do pretty well in the late game, given the circumstance, but both of these heroes are kind of intended to do very well in the laning phase, and if they don't, now all of a sudden, if they're balanced around a very powerful laning phase and they don't get it, yeah, it's going to be pretty rough for those heroes.
Yeah, Death Prophet even sitting on a regen rune, so yeah, be feeling real bold.
Yeah, it's just the best position to be in whenever you have regen. You're just like, yep, I can cast spells, I can harass, I can just man up and right click the other person, and they have to run away because you know that as the OD, he just knows he just can't trade right clicks because it's not going to be favorable for him.
Yeah, things still pretty cautious in this beginning.
Yep.
Really just kind of a farm mechanics game in that regards as well. Yep. Team Net Worth joined JapanDotaRejects, taking the advantage so far, not by a lot.
And Sven getting that Helm of the Iron Will, so he's going to go in the top lane though. Looks like there's an engagement, huge purification onto the Disruptor, almost gets the kill, turned it around. That's what you can do as Omni Knight. If that was a level 3 purification, so this is where you don't expect it. That's pure damage, by the way. That's about as strong as some level 4 nukes for other sports.
Yeah.
So that is real good. And still first blood not spilt onto the lanes here. But let's see. Disruptor pretty much once again low HP, low mana, has to get out of here. Omni Knight's feeling real good about this. He's got that Mango for HP regen, and eventually he's going to get his mana boots here in about 300 gold, and he's getting last hits against the Spectre. So this is really favorable. I love playing Omni Knight games that result like this.
Right.
And who doesn't?
Most of them. Sure.
That feeling of being in the off lane and coming out this way is got to be one of the best feelings. Ooh, Doom going on in the mid lane. There's the reply of the Astral Imprisonment let me articulate, on DP, but that's gonna be able to save him. Rotation from Enchantress comes in. Impetus is being thrown, and it's huge damage, but that she does have a salve, looks like, in tow, as well as the bottle, so she's just fine. So Doom, he's doing Doom things. He's getting his farm on. He's level 4, 7 minutes in. Not the worst for considering the circumstance he was in, and he's making a little bit of space for lanes. Looks like there's 3 people in the mid lane now. Disruptor with a smoke, looking to stop. Ooh, the smoke breaks, unfortunately. Little bit too close as he was placing that ward, but he's going to try to wrap here, and if DP, thinking that the Disruptor is actually gone, gets too close, that glimpse is going to be there. But no, DP's positioned correctly.
Closing in on 8 minutes now. No blood given. Might be a tower, the first
Omni
to go.
Knight. flexing in the top
Oh,
lane.
there it is.
Yep, and he's looking to get a couple more right clicks on
no.
Spectre, but Spectre's real quick, and he's going to be trading tower hits there. But yep, that's there it is. Purest Thunder Wrath, ladies and gentlemen.
A sudden explosion of violence.
Yeah.
As there was some deaths in the middle lane with Disruptor going down. Spectre pops the ult, just trying to get something real quick there.
Yeah.
Kind of cheeky, but...
Might have been for Omni Knight, but he repelled, it looks like, possibly before the Spectral Dagger hit him, because he's pretty low HP. That might have been with the intent of that. But Omni Knight may have outplayed it with that repel.
Yeah, Death Prophet was kind of low too, but not nearly enough at this stage in the game.
Exactly. There it is. So first blood, second blood spilled. Remind me who was the second death? Yeah, okay, it was Disruptor. So Disruptor died in the mid lane 2 DP then?
Yeah.
Gotcha, nice one. Cool stuff. OD hits a regen rune in the bot spot of the rune spawn point. He's going to be ganking the bot lane. Sven in here takes some impetus, but he does use the war cry for the enhanced movement speed. So OD's not going to be able to get close yet. He winds up for the right click, but unfortunately he's not there. But there's the fountain glimpse. There is a gem that tracks that, and it feels really good, even though he TP'd from the top lane, so I guess it wouldn't count. But I was thinking he TP'd from the fountain. But yeah, I have about 200 of those. But as Omni Knight gets glimpsed back to the top lane, Winter Wyvern starts hitting him with that Q. The Winter's Curse, or Arctic Burn, sorry, for Winter Wyvern, so strong. You can end up doing like 30% damage regardless of their health every single time you use it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. OD not getting anything out of this bot rotation.
Spectre not having an easy time up here. Demanding a lot of heals out of Winter Wyvern, which is really going to stop him from being able to use his mana in other ways around the map.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And because Omni Knight doesn't have a Soul Ring, he's not really taking as much health damage as he would have been if he was spamming that with the Soul Ring purifications. With the Mana Boots, he's just slowly whittling down the Spectre. And at this point, rank 4 purification, the damage per mana spent is so good. So this is where, Spectre gets pushed out of lane. And in the mid lane, it looks like there was an Invis Rune pop by the OD, tried to do something there. But Witch Doctor is babysitting DP. It's a lot of heals, and he's not going to be able to get anything out of that.
Yeah, and the Omakase get a deny on the middle tower, which is always just kind of a consolation prize.
Yeah.
Nothing you really want to brag about, but it certainly does help the cause quite a bit.
For sure. And looking at ward vision, it doesn't look like Omakase has much in the way of ward vision. But in the top lane, Sven gets a Storm Hammer onto the Spectre. He pops his God Strength. He's going to be swinging on the Enchantress with low attack speed. Doom's here to help as well, and they're chasing the Spectre. They do get the Winter Wyvern just with those right clicks. But wow, the Purification was off the mark, but that doesn't even matter as Sven is cleaving the world with those auto attacks. And they're going to go straight for that tower. Spectre's in a bad place. 7 seconds on Spectral Dagger, but she is going to be able to TP out unless... Oh, man, he was so close to getting the Mini-Sun from the Infernal Blade on that TP.
Yeah, nice try there by the Doom. And still a very good exchange there for JapanDotaRejects.
For sure. This is, wow. Omakase knocked down Scars, and they're hurting here against JDR.
Yeah.
JDR have a pretty good pushing lineup with that DP, and the Witch Doctor heals for the sustain. And yes, as far as Omakase, they just have fight, They have they're not going to be knocking towers really anytime soon. They do have the Enchantress to get a couple creeps and whatnot, but that's not going to really give you that much damage. So they can man up on towers with extra health from creeps, but it's really going to be the team fights in the late game that gets Spectre there. I mean, Sven against a Spectre, that's a pretty comparable late game with equal farm. Spectre being obviously much tankier, but in terms of damage, it really comes down because Spectre can push R, and then all your supports are in trouble. But Sven needs to get really good cleaves, so at that point it's kind of situational regarding whether or not Sven is going to be able to man up against a Spectre in that regard and actually come out positive in the team fight. and go farm wise, but of course, yeah, Spectre is much lower. And this is sort of why Sven is definitely better in the early game. He does have a stun. He does have much increased armor with Warcry, natural cleave to farm, and yeah, so Spectre is sitting there almost half the last hits that Sven does.
Yeah, I've been forced to play a lot more passive than you'd like out of your farmers for sure.
Yeah, you know, Sven's like, you know, he just makes a couple grunting noises. He's okay farming.
Yeah, and you got to
Now,
do what you got to do to play safe. You know, that's more important than anything else.
yeah, I think this is Sven's ranged creep. He's kind of just scouting here, mobile ward, but looks like he is going to be stacking these ancients. He does have one stack at the moment, even though one of the guys is clicking it right now, just attacking it casually.
Yeah, Dr. Evil hanging out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is some range creep murder right here. Just oh, he figured it out. He's like, ah, that hurts. Oh, in the top lane, Omni Knight pushing by himself against 3. There is also the Haunt. They're allocating a Spectre ult for this, but he
Wow.
repels and TPs out successfully. Wow.
Yeah, nothing you can do about
that's
that.
worth right there. That's value.
And the JapanDotaRejects are also going to take the tier 1 on the bottom. So, well, and actually they're pinging to go further. Oh, no, that's sorry, the defensive ping from Disruptor. But, I mean, with that Death Prophet ult out, this is actually a tough defense here. Genetic Field thrown up to just try to keep him away. But, oh my, blown up.
That was very surprising. DPE's right clicks were just cutting into Disruptor. I was like, how did he have the damage for that with essentially 2 right clicks, a Spirit Siphon, and a Crypt Swarm? Feels bad. Then an instant smoke, which is going to be broke by the mid tower, but they just wanted to get the increased speed, and they might catch up to this OD here if he didn't have that drum speed that he popped. So that's the first charge used from that drum of endurance. But they did find a little nifty stack here, which Sven is going to eat Tadakimasu and just
Yeah.
that.
Go to town, clean up, you know.
Yeah.
Let that sushi come around the conveyor belt to you, right?
Oh man, the best. Oof, don't even talk about sushi right now. I want some. But mechanism on Omni Knight, that's big. 15 minutes into the game, and he essentially is almost a super boots on the Guardian Greaves. Ooh, big purification as well as a Doom on Enchantress, but she is really fast. She's going to get healed up there by the Cold Embrace. But they get zoned out, and JDR take another tower if they don't get pushed out. They did run out of creeps, but it looks like they're going to get it.
Yeah, it should be a problem to clean this up. There we go.
Question is, are they going to be able to... The thing is, like, JDR are retreating, and they find a huge paralyzing cask as well as a Stormhammer onto the Winter Waifu, and she goes down. The thing is, Disruptor is better when your enemies are running away, and JDR is manning up, and so it doesn't do as much. It's like a picking hero in that way.
Yeah, he's got a lot of offensive support tools.
Yeah, yeah, a good offense is a good defense in this case for JDR.
Definitely.
And they're feeling strong enough. The thing is that mech advantage, once again, can't overstate that. It is a big advantage. Lots of armor and health for the entire team. And, you know, Omakase has pretty good AoE damage, which means that mech goes even further. And there is going to be engagement here. Finally, they're committing on the Enchantress. Just a couple nukes and the Enchantress is dead. We all know that Enchantress is not that good against magical damage. There's the Haunt. Does he go in? I think he went in for a second, but he backed up. So they're just kind of playing defensively, and that's a Rax down. That's the melee Rax working on the range now. The question is, when they back up, are they going to be able to get anything out of this? Is Omni Knight going to be able to repel the Glimpse target? Is Disruptor even going to try? No, they're more like defending their tier 4s.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, brutal stuff out of JapanDotaRejects here. That Omni Knight offlane definitely doing some work for him, as they just haven't really been able to contest him in the early parts of the game. And now we're seeing that repel and his entire toolkit come into play here. Looking at the net worth chart as well, Sven about to pick up some extra hundreds, throwing some money around. That was actually like 1,000 gold right there he just picked up. And that was very helpful. It was very helpful to him.
Easy shekels.
Yeah, and they actually, as a team, are getting pretty close to having their 4th player as the 4th player on the net worth chart. Yeah. Doom not very far behind that Spectre.
Yeah. 136 last hits. Yeah, looking at net worth. What do we got here? I totally know which button it is after I push 7 buttons. Okay, there we go. It's Y. Yeah. Yeah, after all those towers, a lot of that's tower gold. As far as the advantage of net worth for, like, say, the Omni Knight, the Doom, and the Witch Doctor. So it looks a little bit more weighted than it is, and if Omakase can manage to get some towers, maybe hold out for that Spectre, they can come back. It's going to take a lot of farm, though, and a lot of good engagements, a lot of comeback gold. Luckily, they do have a disruptor, but the question is, will they be using the glimpse? I'm a little bit skeptical, given that they had a pretty good opportunity. They had rank 3 or 4, yeah, rank 3 glimpse before, and as they were running away from the mid-racks push, they didn't glimpse someone back. And that's just a chance that, you know, you can find the right person, even if it's a Sven, even if it's an Omni Knight, you got to give it a try, you know? There's the Haunt, actually, and also the Splinter Blast from the Winter Wyvern. There's an OD, Astral Imprisonment, which was used offensively. DP's kind of separated. There's a Doom on OD himself, so they kind of have to back up at this point. But there's a Winter Wyvern getting caught out by the Infernal Blade. There's a Glimpse, going to be able to send the DP back, but the God Strength, the Stormhammer catches 2. Kinetic Field put down defensively. Enchantress, she has done untouchable, but she's pretty touchable at this point.
Yeah.
And so she's going to go down after another Stormhammer. There's the reply. Sanity's in clips, but unfortunately, Outworld Devourer does not have that much intellect, and the blink from Sven cleans up the Disruptor. And yeah, they have the mobility at this point. They have DP speed, they have Drum, they have Blink on Sven, Sanjin Yasha. I mean, pretty much a lot of their team is mobile. You have Scorched Earth, Sanjin Yasha, Drum, Warcry.
Guardian Greaves on Omni Knight,
Yeah, this is mobility. Darkseer said it the best. Speed is the essence of combat, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And we already have our second tier 3 taken down. We're looking to get the second lane of racks as well. Really, not much can be done here. Yes, wow, JapanDotaRejects have just been running away with this full steam.
I'm being told by my viewers that I said join Dota Rejects at some point, so
there you go.
That is not the name of the team.
Oh, yeah. JapanDota.
Yeah, I guess it's JapanDota.
Right.
Yeah, which is kind of a cool name because this is JapanDota after all. So they're like the renegades of the Japan scene.
The bad boys.
Yeah, and they're taking no names here.
Well, certainly, I mean, they're performing in this match excellently and really setting themselves up for success and a spot in that grand final. So making a name for himself in that regards. And Omakase, you know, it didn't seem to be like much of a slump. They really had their game together the last time that we saw them play, but having some difficulties here as JapanDotaRejects, just really putting on a great display of Dota.
Yep, superiority. I want to look at wards here. Wow, yeah, JDR has some really good wards. They didn't see the smoke that was popped just now by Omakase, and but the Roshan unfortunately was just seconds too soon for them to get there. They are on the high ground. They do notice the Doom. Disruptor drops the static field, able to get the first kill on the board. Unfortunately, I mean, it's good that Spectre got it, but they didn't get more gold out of that. There wasn't a streak on Doom, so it wasn't the primary target. But hey, they'll take anything they can get. Yeah. And that's a bunch of AoE gold for them.
Yeah, they need to get the Spectre rolling. I mean, nice to get something on the board, without a doubt. Would have liked it to come earlier than 21 minutes, you know, but it doesn't always go the way that you would like it to go. But Dota is also a game where, you know, things cannot go your way for the vast majority of the game. I mean, you still pull out that big W. It's definitely going to be an uphill battle for Omakase as they are down 2 lanes of racks. So, what would be your minute estimate of how long it would take Omakase to round the corner?
Yeah, Weathering the Storm's probably going to take... let's look at this. I mean, she almost has her relic, so she's, you know, the chapter's almost begun in terms of farming. But yeah, I mean, the push right here is so strong. They have the armor increase from Warcry as well as the DP.
Oh yeah, they can't stop this.
Like, it's so tough at this point, and it's about good itemization, good aggression, and protecting yourself, grouping up when you need to. Doom initiates with the Blink Dagger, dooms the Enchantress. OD's trying to do what he can, doing some pretty good right clicks, can't get the DP. DP doesn't have the Aegis, so, but no, of course, it's not enough. GG gets called by
Yeah.
Omakase.
Well, there you go. Super quick first match, ladies and gentlemen, in this best of 3 series, with Omakase kind of getting stomped on there by JapanDotaRejects. It definitely seems like a bit of draft imbalance, just not able to get much going on in that tri-lane up against Omni Knight. Needed to get some sort of control over him. 1-0 in 10. Big points on the board for him.
Yeah, thinking about what Omakase can take out of this, maybe they could have switched up lanes. Maybe OD would have done better in the top lane, and then maybe I don't know, maybe put Spectre bottom with some supports. It's really tough to say, and of course, in hindsight, it's 2020. But yeah, the fact that Omni Knight got that much space and they weren't able to group up. I mean, we saw them get 1 kill there on the Doom, and that was a 1,600 gold swing. So the potential is always there. You kind of got to be mindful of that. And well, maybe next game they'll have another plan for us.
Yeah, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, Omakase will be putting together another match here at least. Might see 2 more matches tonight, and this is a best of 3 series. Omakase's strategy from the other night worked excellent for him. They pulled it off well. This map didn't really work. We'll see if they can get it together for the next one. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, eXtelevision, will be back with NexLevel Dota with another map of fantastic Japan Dota Cup brought to you by my Onyx. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.